5 months after a fast-moving wildfire devastated Malden and Pine City, some good news. Today, the Biden administration approved disaster relief for the rural communities. We'll break down what that means.
Tracking snow for tonight as radar starts to fill in and what conditions will be like by tomorrow morning.
Plus, closed to new intakes. The Union Gospel Missions Men's Shelter says the move is aimed at slowing the spread of the coronavirus, how many cases they've had, and what the shelter is saying tonight. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 11. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Regina is off tonight. We start with the coronavirus outbreak at the Union Gospel Missions Men's Shelter. The situation's bad enough. The shelter is closed for intake effective immediately. That means more people will be sleeping on the streets tonight. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones has details about how the shelter is handling the outbreak.
For the majority of this pandemic, the coronavirus hasn't caused major problems here at the Union Gospel Men's Shelter. It wasn't until Christmas when cases began to rise, bringing them to a point where they now have to implement new protocols. More than 70 people associated with UGM have contracted the virus since December.
But in the last 2 weeks, things have really escalated as far as the number of people who are being infected or having positive tests.
Shelter staff are among those in isolation to stop the spread. New intakes won't be allowed over the next 2 weeks, meaning a normal place that offers an escape from freezing temperatures will temporarily be unavailable.
Obviously, when we make decisions like this, it's in consultation with the city and other shelter providers to make sure that there's going to be enough bed space to accommodate the clients that aren't going to be checking into the UGM shelter.
Redirecting people to available shelter space in Spokane has to be a priority while also getting the outbreak under control. Temperatures are expected to drop down into the teens next week. UGM officials say the decision wasn't made lightly, but they worked with Spokane's regional health district about what the best measures would be.
Not only new people coming in who could get infected, but also new people who could potentially bring more illness into the shelter.
During their current guidelines, testing will take place 2 times a week. Teams from the health district come in to assist with this process. UGM has medical clinics that focus on anyone that displays symptoms. 120 people are still using the facility, but they'll have to abide with protocols and social distance on shelter property.
One thing that just came to my head was just in terms of people who are trying to recover. Is there any challenges when trying to quarantine?
The shelter was set up to allow freedom and let people come and go on their own terms. That'll be impacted due to the outbreak.
It's tremendously difficult. We have kind of 2 locations in our shelter, makeshift isolation areas where we can separate clients for a short period of time away from others.
UGM will follow this new plan for at least the next 2 weeks. Counselors are on standby for anyone who may have challenges with the isolated period of time. The shelter plans to reopen on February 14th. From Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
All right, our other big story tonight is the weather. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us from the Outdoor Weather Center tonight. Thomas, when we spoke with you at 10 p.m. out there, it was raining on you. Are you still getting rain?
Yeah, we're still getting rain, but every once in a while, it looks like there's a stray snowflake that I can tell in our studio lights. So.
Okay.
Getting a bit colder out here. It's also a bit windy as well. I think in Spokane, we might luck out and stay on the rain side of this event that's moving through our area tonight and tomorrow morning. But some higher elevations, particularly in North Idaho, are starting to lean more towards the snow side of the spectrum as well. Even look at the I-90 corridor. It's pretty much picked out perfectly by our radar, saying it's just rain right on the corridor. But some of these higher elevations like Mount Spokane and even some of those foothills starting to see snow. Looks like the snow is starting to drift back into the Palouse, or that rain changing over to snow. So areas like Moscow and getting close to Pullman might start to squeeze out a few more snowflakes as of this hour and through tomorrow morning. But even our northeastern Washington valleys also just rain with snow on the mountains in between those valleys. Here's the latest look out at Post Falls, a rainy camera as the wind probably blowing the rain right into that camera lens. So it is just all rain right now as of the I-90 corridor. Winter weather advisories along the 3,500 1,500-foot elevation mark and above. So it's mostly the mountain passes like 4th of July Pass, Lookout Pass that are going to get some very heavy snow tonight and through about 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. But some areas in North Idaho still might pick up some light but slushy accumulations as well. So I think you just want to take it easy just in case, even though Spokane probably won't see a whole lot of snow, if any, out of this particular system. Should be out of here pretty quickly in the morning hours. But coming up, detailing how much snow is in the works and how much colder it's going to get come next week.
All right, we'll talk to you then. Thomas, thank you very much. Deputies say one man was shot and sent to the hospital after an argument in Spokane Valley. The man is now being treated for possible life-threatening injuries at the hospital. Investigators say it all happened in the 1900 block of North Sullivan today. The sheriff's department says an argument involving 5 people escalated into a shooting. 3 people involved took off. They were later detained by deputies. They say there is no threat to the public at this hour, and those involved appear to know each other. A Spokane man accused of kidnapping his girlfriend was arrested in Montana on Tuesday. According to the Lake County, Montana Sheriff's Office, 34-year-old John Monday was arrested by Polson police in Montana. His girlfriend was found safe in Coeur d'Alene. The FBI, along with Lake County deputies, are now investigating the case. Today, we learned the names of the 3 Idaho Guardsmen killed in a tragic helicopter crash in Boise during what was described as a routine drill. The pilots who were killed are 43-year-old Chief Warrant Officer 4, Jesse Anderson of Boise, 39-year-old Chief Warrant Officer 3, George Laban, also of Boise, and 43-year-old Chief Warrant Officer 3, Matthew Peltzer of Nampa. The trio are described as having thousands of flight hours between them, and they were participating in a routine training flight when they crashed. The cause of that crash still not known, but officials say snow and fog was present in the area. Today, President Biden approved federal aid for Malden and Pine City nearly 5 months after they were devastated by the Labor Day fires. More than 85% of all buildings in Malden and Pine City had burned to the ground in the Babb Road fire. Residents there have not been able to clean up or rebuild since. Biden's approval releases funding from FEMA to provide disaster relief for 9 eastern Washington counties.
We've had folks come in today and, you know, they've had tears in their eyes. I mean, this is huge. It is the beginning, and we want folks to keep writing their senators and representatives and Governor Inslee and telling them thank you.
The money will help rebuild public infrastructure, including power lines, roads, and sewage systems. The funding for individual assistance is still under review at this time. All right, by the numbers now. The Spokane Regional Health District is reporting 146 new coronavirus cases. 4 new deaths were also reported today. Currently, 83 Spokane County residents are in the hospital with the coronavirus. 84.5% of cases in the county have so far recovered. Meantime, over in North Idaho, the Panhandle Health District is reporting 93 new coronavirus cases. No new deaths were reported there. Currently, 46 residents of Idaho's 5 northern counties are hospitalized due to the virus. All right, still ahead tonight, an update to a KREM 2 investigation. The Medical Lake Cemetery is trying to stop a gun range from being built right across the street from them. And now a Superior Court judge has weighed in favor of the little guy. The latest on what some have described as a David and Goliath battle, coming up after the break. And later, special election ballots are due on Tuesday, and more than a dozen school levies are up for a vote. We'll break down why this is happening now instead of back in November. Stay with us. We're back after this.